don't have any special powers.
Oh, I have one, Johnny. I never give up.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the DC fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We are going to look, we're going to start with the Marshall Rogers run on Batman, and we're going to be looking at Detective Comics 471 from 1977. So Marshall Rogers is clearly one of the influencers of the Image Comics guys, and I'm going to show you why. Not only has Rob Liefeld, actually, he's got a podcast. He says, by the way, Terry Austin is the inker. This is pre-Terry Austin going with John Byrne to the Uncanny X-Men. And our villain will be Hugo Strange. And Batman says, you. And Hugo Strange says, yes, Batman, the dead yet live. I've always liked Terry Austin's signature. So, all right. Here we go. So, the writer is Steve Englehart, and Steve Englehart had a bit of a nice run on Batman following Denny O'Neil. Marshall Rogers is a penciler with Terry Austin, and this is Marshall Rogers' second Batman story. I believe 2 issues prior he had done a story. So we start here with just kind of a brief origin here. Orphaned as a child when a gunman murdered his parents, Bruce Wayne trained himself to wage a relentless war against crime. Masquerading by day as a millionaire man about town, he prowls the nights to prey on the vermin of the underworld as the dread Batman, and of course created by Bob Kane, although now they have put Bob Kane with acknowledgments to the work of Bill Finger, because Bill Finger definitely had an influence on modern day Batman. One thing I want to point here is John Workman, the letterer. This is one of his early works. So John Workman is one of my favorite letterers. He will go on with Walter Simonson in Thor. Actually, he works mostly with Walter Simonson. So, all right. So we have, his name will come up. He's one of the gangsters. And anyway, he says, then we're agreed, gentlemen. Dr. Phosphorus is missing and presumed dead. But our course remains clear. The Batman must go. And so the dead yet live is our title. Menace hangs as thick as smoke in this cloistered chamber, and yet this is but a prelude to an even greater terror lying in wait. All too soon, the Batman must learn that the dead yet live. So, a great panel here, and you can definitely see McFarlaneisms that are gonna come up here, and definitely Terry Austin. You can tell also by the fact that there is a ton of oh my god, what are these little ticks called? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Feathering. So you can definitely see a lot of feathering that is being done, and of course the Image guys are going to be notorious for that, but you can definitely, as mentioned before, you're gonna see a very McFarlaneism. We're gonna start here with this picture, and look at this friggin' cape. It is he took the Neil Adams design and went ballistic on it. So we're gonna see more of it. And so there we go, Rupert Thorne. That's who it is. It's indicative of the Batman animated series. So the Fat Man is Rupert Thorne, Boss Thorne. He runs the Gotham City council. Some say he runs Gotham, and though they're right, they don't say it out loud. So very similar to the kingpin of crime. Barty, Marco, you've been upstate with the governor for most of this, so let me recap the situation thus far. So we are sort of starting in the middle of a run. So this will be going to be kind of, because I wanted to start with Marshall Rogers. So it's good that we get the recap here. Very Marvel of them. And so Rupert says, the phosphor fanatic used to be Alex Sartorius. We helped him build the Gotham nuclear plant. You remember, very hush-hush. But then he had that accident last year. He blamed us. He swore vengeance on the whole city, and when Batman got in his way, he blackmailed us into cracking down on the Caped Crusader. It put us in the awkward position of helping that madman destroy Gotham, but he would have destroyed us had we refused, and that was detailed on the previous issue, which I have not covered and have no plans to cover because, again, I'm only interested in Marshall Rogers here. So, now, unfortunately, he's vanished, yet his legacy lingers. Every year, this city gets harder to control. If our financial troubles have taught us anything, it's that the government must act more decisively. We will have to cut even more corners than we already have. And so, I love the black on the head and here, and then a little bit of him taking a puff of the cigarettes. That will be difficult with a self-appointed lawman loose in the streets. The police we can handle. I can bury Commissioner Gordon under new regulations with a phone call. But the time has come to kiss the Batman goodbye. And so this guy says, I don't know, boss. Is that really wise? He gives our city an image of safety. Tourists who wouldn't be caught dead in New York spend a lot of money in Gotham because of him. And that image has also kept the feds out of our hair. And this one says, more than that, he's been able to get the goods on us. Why should we stir up a hornet's nest, says this guy. And the other guy, and I like it here, how we break it into 3 panels, but it's really one image. Besides, the others have tried to drive him away and failed. Last year, that Ra's al Ghul character tried to frame him for murder. It was a perfect plan, but he beat it. And so that was in Detective Comics 444 through 448. And again, I have not covered that. Anyway, Rupert Thorne says, I said, gentlemen, that we are agreed. And he slams his fist on the table. You fools are all scared of him, look at you, quaking in your boots like school kids. Well, I have a plan he cannot beat. I don't care if he's the devil himself, the Batman. All of a sudden you see some stuff coming through here, like a little rock here. You can see the pebble, and you see the sound effect, chaka-chick here. And Rupert turns his head, and you can see that this little thing shows that his eyes are fixed on this, and then this guy's gawking here. So everybody turns their head to look here. Very well done. And suddenly somebody says, what was that? And Batman says, blast, my hand slipped. And someone in the chimney listening, take a look, Bruto. And of course Batman is going to get away. And this guy says, I don't see nothing, boss. And so here we see the cape, and you can definitely see the McFarlane in it. Look at this. Even the cape coming through here. Absolutely gorgeous here. So Batman thinks here, I just couldn't hold it any longer. That was too close. I have to admit it. I don't have my full strength, thinks Batman here. And Batman continues here. With his thoughts. Not with these wounds I took fighting Phosphorus. Wherever he touched me, he burned me. It's been a week now, and they're not healing, and it's worse. They're still radioactive. And so we see some screen tones being applied here. And again, this is the stuff that you're definitely gonna see. This cape, um, really just like Tom McFarlane did with the Spider-Man web. Um, Marshall Rogers did with the Batman's cape. This thing is just so big. It's huge, and it definitely you can see has a big effect here. So Batman continues. Well, I can keep hoping for the best and get used to operating at 90% efficiency, or get smart and get back in shape. The choice isn't too tough after this. So you can see he's getting into the Batmobile here. I love the 70s Batmobile. And so, a flash of shadow in the night, the Batmobile rockets away through the city, sleeping side streets here, and leaving the impassive rows of ancient brownstones. For Gotham's humbler districts, where the Wayne Foundation Tower above the lower, leaner skyline. We see this tree here. That's kind of cool here. Where only well-worn warehouses bear silent witness to the doings. In the cul-de-sac called Finger Alley. So that would be a nod to Bill Finger here. Moments later, in the reborn Batcave beneath the Wayne building. So keep in mind, I can't believe he actually had it shaped like a Batcave. During this time, Bruce was not living in the mansion. And look at the cape here. Look at this massive cape. Marshall Rogers. Once again, you can see the Todd McFarlane things that would definitely inspire. You can see this coming up here. So Alfred says, but sir, if the city council is planning to move against you, and Batman says, Rupert Thorne's plan must include my fighting back, Alfred. Until I do, the war's not over. So he can wait. These wounds can't, he says. And he continues here. You drank water laced with radioactive phosphorus, and science cursed you. But I've been my own doctor until tonight, and my science doesn't extend that far. And Alfred says, you mean you plan to seek an outside doctor? And so Julie Schwartz lets us know. Rest in peace, by the way, Julie Schwartz. That this happened in the previous issue. And Alfred continues, begging your pardon, sir, but after Dr. Phosphorus and that Dr. Bell on the council. And Batman continues, now, you can't judge a whole profession by a few bad apples. As a matter of fact, I have an excellent doctor in mind. Excellent both medically and for the Batman's secret identity. Several months ago, a friend of Bruce Wayne's told me about a clinic he'd gone to. A place near Gotham Canal called Grey Towers. Very exclusive, very professional, and no questions asked. You can see the smile here. We rich folks have our eccentric pleasures, don't you know? God, I just see Todd McFarlane. Definitely Marshall Rogers is huge. Arthur Adams, which I have covered some stuff, you definitely see the imagisms, and definitely you see them here. They'll treat Bruce Wayne without having to explain a thing. And so, a rotary phone. If only all my problems were that simple. And so he says, Silver, hi, this is Bruce. Listen, I have to cancel on tonight. I'm going to Grey Towers. You heard of it. No, nothing major, just some tests. And so the lady still in bed here. Look at the screen tone. It's just beautiful here. Well, after the other night, darling, I'd hope you'd at least be suffering exhaustion. I know I am. Seriously, Bruce, get well soon. I'll miss you. And Bruce says, I miss you too, Silver. And Alfred thinks, that doesn't sound like Master's usual Playboy banter. I wonder if Miss St. Cloud is the one. So, and as we know, there is no one. Batman just does not have time. And so it lets us know that we're at noon. Love this view here, kind of looking up here. And this doctor says, "Welcome, Mr. Wayne. Welcome to Grey Towers. I'm Dr. Todd Hunter, Chief of Staff. We'll have you shipshape in no time." And Bruce says, "Thanks. And I appreciate your admitting me on such short notice." And the doctor says, "That's what we're here for. Ah, Magda, show Mr. Wayne to his room, will you?" And so she takes him. And Bruce says, "I understand this is quite a place. My friend Jerry Robinson told me you people are wonder workers." And she says, "Yes, I remember, Mr. Robinson. Many of the rich and powerful from all along the eastern seaboard come to Grey Towers." And he says, "Funny, he never mentioned you. You're not the kind of, woman a man forgets." And she says, "Here's your room, Mr. Wayne. Make it Bruce, Magda. Perhaps after you're cured." And she says, "Sleep now. The doctor will see you shortly." "Sleep nonsense. I'm wide awake." And she says, "Sleep." And he says, "That's funny." All of a sudden, something's wrong, and he collapses. And so, oh, look at this, all wonky here. Oh, that is cool. And it lets us know it's a nightmare here. You can see his parents being shot, becoming Batman. So good, good splash page there, and he wakes up. Wait a minute. I never get, I never have nightmares. I give nightmares, and the way I collapse, I remember now. And he's getting out of bed now. "It must have been Magda's perfume drugged me. She probably wore nose filters. But why?" "What? Locked." And then suddenly, "Okay, buddy, what's the beef? I'm Bruce Wayne, a patient in this clinic. There's been some mistake." This guy says, "If there's been a mistake, it's yours, buddy. You ain't any more Bruce Wayne than I am. And this ain't no clinic. It's an asylum nut house to you." And so it lets us know we're going down here. "So shut your yap or I'll have to strap you down." And Bruce is like, "Oh, really?" And I love the shadow I've always loved it when people do the shadow and you can see the Batman behind. So very Michael Golden too. And Michael Golden was around during this time, so but Marshall Rogers is a bit faster, so all right. And so we get Steve Englehart narrating. "Trap Bruce Wayne, idle playboy philanthropist, and you trap the most dangerous man in Gotham too." Keenly aware of possible hidden eyes, the Batman begins to figure his way out. While outside, the sun has fallen low in the west to paint Silver St. Cloud a delicate gold. And she says, "That's Grey Towers. I thought I knew every hip building in the Canal Zone." And so she continues here. "Well, good. Some people just hate this town, but I love it. There's always something new. Trust Bruce to find a place like this for a hospital." And she goes, "Oh, hi, I'm visiting Bruce Wayne." And she says, "Bruce Wayne?" "Yes, Mr. Wayne, I'm sorry, miss, but Mr. Wayne cannot receive visitors at the present time," says the doctor. "Huh? I thought he was just here for tests. What's the matter with him?" And this guy says, "I'm very sorry, miss. Our examinations indicate radiation poisoning." And she asks she says, "Radiation poisoning?" And he says, "He'll be under intensive care for at least a week, I'm afraid. I'll see that he receives your gift. Good afternoon." And so we continue here. "In the next 2 hours, a day world dies, and the night world flows in with its neon satins and sables." Now the Batman is ready, so you can see him knocking on the door. And this guy says, "Here, handsome, the rest of this swill is for you." "All right, Crackwise, if I hear a peep out of you tonight, I'll crack you in two. Sleep now. Just lie down and sleep." And Batman thinks here, "My friend, if you really think I drank your drug slop, you're even dumber than you look." And so, look at this. With a howly boom, the bolt slams shut outside, masking the pop of a secret panel in the slid of a stylish suitcase. So very, he carried everything. "I haven't spotted any camera, so let's roll the dice. Couldn't wear this to a medical exam, but it's always around." And so he puts on his costume here. Oh, so awesome. And look at this. And thus is born the weird figure of the dark, this avenger of evil, the Batman. Oh, how beautiful. And so, I can't believe they wouldn't have searched him, but swiftly the Dark Knight whips 2 acid vials from his utility belt and drains them into the bars. You can see it go in, and so he rips them out. And so, fascinating, the outer wall around the building, so the prisoners get away but stay hidden. Very neat. All the better for me now to make this climb easier. And so, again, look at this huge cape. All right, first Todd Hunter. He's the brains behind this. I love this. The kind of getting off the panel a little bit. Who could he be after? Ransom? No, this is too elaborate. And what could ever force my friend Jerry Robinson to recommend this place to me? And so, all of a sudden, what? And look at this cape. Oh my goodness. And so we see some monsters here. I don't know where you both came from as Batman lunges, but I'm going to send you back. These are the moments the Batman lives for, the challenge and the conquest. And so he's grabbed here by the neck. Any night in the dark, he could die, but not if he has anything to say about it. And he kicks this guy, done in silhouette. Very beautiful. He has declared war on crime, and so he's probably going to bang these two together. These heads together, and he does, and his word is law. Down the hatch, says Batman. Oh, so cool. There, that ought to hold them. Oh my goodness gracious. So I have an action figure from DC Direct that is for the Marshall Rogers Batman, and it is so hard to keep up because the cape is so huge. It's like this almost. So the cape is super heavy. So anyway. And Magda says, "What's happening on the roof, Doctor?" And he says, "A prowler, Magda? A prowler who has met my monsters. Come, let us view the remains." And she says, "Doctor, look." Oh, this is so awesome here. And Batman crashes through here. Look at that. Oh my goodness gracious. That looks awesome. Very very much what you're gonna start to see. Keep in mind this is 77 here. So I've been on your trail for weeks, Todd Hunter. Tonight I'm smashing your scheme for good. No, you're lying. I don't know why, but you are. You're too good a detective to uncover my plot, and not me. Too good to have learned. And so he rips up, and it was Hugo Strange. And so he says, "Who I really am." And Batman's like, "I thought you were dead." And so it says here, all the way back in Detective number 46. And Batman says, look at that color. But I should have known better. You always were one for miraculous returns, and you've turned men into monsters before. And it says here, Batman number 1. Believe it or not, Julie. And he says, "Such an icy calm, Batman. You deserve your fearsome reputation as much as ever." And Magda's like, "What is this, a mutual admiration society?" And Hugo says, "In a way, my dear, the Batman and I have come to respect each other quite highly in our encounters. He is the reason I abandoned Gotham City for Europe after our last battle, and the reason I have returned after so many years of success there. Only the Batman can offer Hugo Strange a challenge. Truly, Magda, a life of genius is a lonely one." And Batman off panel says, "If the genius is evil, Strange." And I love the cut, the way the panel goes. Oh, this is so modern. And Hugo Strange says, "Spoken like a true fanatic, my dear Batman. You may label my actions however you wish, but the fact remains that I have transformed every one of Dr. Todd Hunter's patients into mindless slaves, all those rich and influential people, totally dependent upon my goodwill." And he continues here, "For the temporary antidote to their mutations. Not one can afford to disobey my slightest whims. So each one brings me more victims from among his friends, and my hidden power grows and grows. Nothing can stop me now, he continues. And Batman says, "You forget me, Strange." And he goes, "I forget nothing," as he tosses that bucket there. And Batman says, "Oh, no, you didn't. You're taking the big fall for this," he says, and hits him here, this whoop. And another looking up panel, another worm's eye view. Let's go. Hugo Strange lies crumpled at the Batman's feet, but oddly, no light of surrender shows behind his thick lenses. And you can see a snake coming through this little thing here. As always, you underestimate the vast scope of my schemes, Batman. Evil, to me, it's an end in itself. And Batman says, "No one can ever be safe while I yet live." And so, look at this. Look at the cape. And he left this so you could clearly see the back. But you could have just inked this a little different, I think, and had this solid, but definitely works here. This is just spectacular here. And the snake bites him here. And Hugo Strange says, "The Green Mamba, deadliest reptile in all the world. It brings coma in seconds. Quick, Magna, the anti-venom. I want this lawman stopped, but not dead. I have plans for him." How long the darkness lasts, the Batman cannot say, but in time it turns to gray and pulses with pain. Yet, wait, something's very wrong. What he sees is not through his slits. And it says here, "Yes, my friend, you took longer. You no longer wear your mask. I saw my chance and I seized it. Your secrets are secret no longer, Bruce Wayne." And boom, we get the end of the issue. It should say to be continued or something like this, but that is all she wrote there. So look at that. Hugo Strange now knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Back then, nobody knew. Now everybody knows who the heck Bruce Wayne is, but the general public doesn't know. But it seems like all his friends, all his partners, all know who he is. So, Detective Comics 471 by Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers, and the great Terry Austin. By the way, also rest in peace, Marshall Rogers. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.